Hi, I'm Matt, and this is my wife Nicole. We both live in Cliff. We've got a little girl. She's almost 2.5 years of age. And we've got a little boy who's about to pop in 5 weeks' time.
We both have grown up in Christian sort of homes, per se, both attended Christian schools, but never really sort of dived into the whole ideology behind Christianity and religion to the extent where we got very involved. When we found out that we had our baby, our unborn child, had an issue, a very rare condition called a pulmonary sequestration, which effectively meant that our son had a tumor or a mass, a non-functional mass in his entire left lung. Obviously this news wasn't great, and we had to find coping mechanisms, and we were in a sort of a program of being monitored over the next weeks. And my husband decided that we needed to get away. And yeah, it actually just turned out that whole weekend was a very special weekend for both couples. Bern and Paul were there celebrating their birthday, and we were getting away on our little sort of baby moon. We landed up spending most of the time together. I think it was probably the cornerstone and the turning point of
our last evening.
Yeah, our last evening of where we found ourselves, and that's when we got into a bit of a religious debate. We got down to sort of the basic questions that we maybe had as sort of burning questions, just in basics. And at that point, we also divulged why we were there for our weekend and the reason behind our weekend away, and we told them of our story of our unborn son. And it was at that point that actually I think it was Bern asked if she could pray for us.
Yes.
So we agreed, and they prayed, and I had a tear or two, and we left it at that. It was the next weekend that we decided that we were going to take ourselves off to go and try the church out. It was good timing in terms of the preaching at that point in time was about relationships, which rang very true to both of us and where we were in our relationship, given the news that we'd give. In actual fact, the people at the door, when they opened the door for us, just greeted us, and they had just really friendly and welcoming. So we didn't feel like it was a daunting environment. We had a sort of a week and a half wait until we saw the specialist, and it was a Tuesday morning. Literally a week before we saw the specialist, I was in the gym, and as I stood up, this gentleman had stopped training, and he was just staring at me, pointing at my stomach. His words were to me that little boy is going to be a nation changer, and God has huge plans for him. At that point in time, the floodgates opened. I stood in the middle of the Virgin Active and just bawled my eyes out. He then got off the treadmill and came to me, and he said, I feel that you and your husband are very comfortable. You've got a good, comfortable life, and you've just started letting God into your life. He said, but you're limiting him. He says, stop limiting him, and you'll see even bigger miracles. We had then been to church on the next Sunday, and we had relayed the story to Paul and Bern and a few other of our newfound friends, and they knew that we were going to see the specialist. There was another little prayer session done. This time I think we participated a little bit more. And that Tuesday morning we went to go and see the specialist, and we were told that he couldn't find the tumor. It had completely disappeared. Being a medical doctor, he said he couldn't bring himself to write resolves on the case. We did spend over an hour with him. He was very perplexed. He scanned me twice, took me off the machine, sat at his desk. We went through the previous diagnosis just to make sure. He then put me back on the machine to just double check he wasn't missing anything. And the conclusion was that we couldn't.
It was clear. Couldn't find it.
There was no.
Completely white on the screens.
Yeah, it was gone.
Clean lungs.
And so that's now where we stand with this. Obviously, we were elated and nervous and overjoyed and confused at this point in time. But again, we just continue with this peace and this journey.
For me, it's still like I'm still getting there. I'm going down this journey, and
we're really looking forward to it. It's God so far has been fun, enjoyable, and yeah, we're just going to keep going and see where we go.
Yeah, it's from being a very daunting sort of overwhelming experience. We realized that hey, it's okay. It's really about opening our hearts and enjoying the relationships and understanding other people's journeys and stories and really getting to grips with our own.